Hello, Dr. Robin. Just wanted to go over my little handout that I have on my website, drrobin.com, which I call my nutrition on a page. It says nutrition for life. Nutrition can be so complex, so I want to just kind of make it a little bit more simple and go through some of the basics of how you can eat for better health. I did put a quote on the top of here, let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. One thing I've seen in practice that so many people that come into me with different symptoms don't realize that many of those symptoms are either caused by A, nutrition deficiencies, or B, nutrition toxicities. So working over what you should eat, and we'll talk just a little bit about what maybe you should cut out. So starting off, I have what I call my guidelines for health. The very first one on here says include a protein and a healthy fat with every meal. So here, what we want to do is make sure we can stabilize our blood sugar levels and that we get the nutrients our body needs to function and that we can feel full. So I have broken down what a complete protein is. Basics we know. Now with protein, I am going to be a little bit pickier. There's a lot of research saying that meat is bad, but I don't think you can really find any research saying that good quality meat is bad. All the research is done on the processed stuff, which is fed GMO corn, which is given antibiotics, and much, much more. So here, if we're going for proteins, recommend spending just a little bit more money to make sure with beef that it's grass-fed, with fish that it's wild-caught, and then with chicken or turkey that it's organic. Eggs should be organic and pasture-raised, and then if you do like bacon, you can go for that pork or turkey, just make sure it's organic and hormone-free. If we are vegetarians, that does limit your options, but in order to get a complete protein, sometimes you have to combine some things. So you can do plant-based protein powder. I do love protein powder as a supplement to a healthy diet, and that's also something I do every morning, which is kind of a nice easy-go breakfast when you're on the run. Quinoa is a complete protein, buckwheat, or you can combine rice with beans or lentils. So there's your protein. So if you think about that, okay, let's start off. Breakfast. What can I eat with protein? If you're gonna think about breakfast foods, then you can do eggs, or you can go to a protein shake. Lunch, you can pick any of those. One of my favorites is having a big salad and adding in some chicken or turkey. Dinner, I really like having something like ground beef, some steak, or fish. So each one of those, you wanna have something in each one of your meals. The next one is a healthy fat. So many times, and especially a lot of diets where people are trying to lose weight, they're limiting the fat. Now, fat is important. Every single one of our hormones are fat soluble, so we need fat, even for something like testosterone. Not only that, we have specific vitamins, A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble. So here we want to make sure we're going to get a fat. Fat's going to help you feel full and situated, and it's going to help keep the insulin levels stable. So some of my favorite healthy fats is avocado. Technically it's a fruit, but we're putting it in the fat category here. Coconut oil, which is great for cooking. Extra virgin olive oil, not good for cooking, but good to put on salads because of the it denatures at the high temperature. And then seeds of any kind. You can do flax, chia, hemp, pumpkin, sunflower, sesame seeds. Raw nuts. Remember, just nuts when we heat them, or if you buy them roasted, it does denature as well. And then adding all the salt is going to make you crave and crave more. So stick with the raw nuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts, pine nuts, pecans, and macadamia nuts. And then you can do any nut butters. One of my favorite is coconut butter. If you haven't tried it, I'll just take it by the spoonful. I love to eat that in the morning, sometimes with a protein shake. Almond butter, cashew butter. Now notice we did not say anything on here about peanuts because they're not technically a nut, they're a legume. They are more inflammatory, so I would stay away from the peanuts or the peanut butter in general. Now butter is great. Ideally go for organic butter or grass-fed butter, which is also known as ghee. And that's great for cooking things as well. So you've got the first one, your protein and your healthy fat for every meal. The fats, looking at breakfast, eggs are a great source of fat. So that's kind of a good throw-in. You can add avocado on top of making a veggie omelet. Or like like I said, you can throw some kind of healthy fats in a protein smoothie. Now, the second one on here is consume at least 5 to 9 cups of vegetables a day, and then no more than 2 cups of fruit a day. Ideally, with vegetables and fruits, you do want to buy local. The question comes up, organic. I just tell people to go to Google the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list. If it's on the Dirty Dozen, it has a lot of pesticides on it, so go organic for that. If you're on your Clean 15, or if it has a big shell around it, then you don't necessarily need to spend the extra money to go organic. Now, that is a lot of vegetables, but there's so many nutrients that we get that people are just deficient in because they're not eating their vegetables. So I put a whole list of vegetables on here. Look through that, try different recipes, see what you can experience with getting more vegetables. Now, I did limit the fruit for a reason. Ideally, you always want to get at least twice as many vegetables as fruit, but fruit has a lot of sugar. If you're trying to lose weight, I would probably recommend just cutting out the fruit until we get to your weight goal, and then you can experiment with adding some back in. Or one of the best ones that's not too high in sugar, which has a lot of antioxidants and nutrients, would be berries. For most people, they're fine with berries, and I say it's a good one just to throw in a smoothie or add on top to something, or even a salad. So the next one on here is drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Surprising how many people I see that come in with these symptoms, and it's like dehydration. We know headache's the first sign of dehydration. A lot of people are drinking coffee. For every cup of coffee you drink, you need 2 cups of water to counteract the side effects of the coffee. If you're drinking a lot of other drinks, you're going to want to cut them out and go to water. Now, I like the guidelines for body weight, but you can look, if you are morbid obese, that's probably going to be too much water for you. If you're within a good weight range, then that's great. If you're bigger, I would say go for at least 3 liters of water a day, and that should be enough for you. So that's the basic guidelines of what to do. Now, in the middle bottom here, I put foods that cause inflammation, pain, neurologic damage, and weight gain. So these are foods that you're going to want to eliminate. Maybe you're going to need to eliminate for a little while, or you can add them back in or eat sparingly, but not on a regular basis. You're going to have to learn to listen to your body and what your body can handle, or what risk or side effect you're willing to take for eating them. So the first one is gluten. We hear a lot of things about gluten. To me, it's not necessarily, we have increased the amount of gluten that's in our food products. But all the wheat crops, before they harvest them, they are spraying them with this pesticide called Roundup, which includes glyphosate. Now, that is a neuroendocrine disruptor. That's where a lot of our issues come from. So I just say avoid it at all costs, anything that has gluten in it. Later, if you want to test it back in, find something that is organic, which means it's not going to have the toxin or the glyphosate inside of it. So this includes not only wheat, but also white flour products like pastas, crackers, cereals, and breads. And now I'd also stay away from the gluten-free prepackaged foods. Just go for the natural foods that don't have it in it, which is your fresh foods that Mother Earth has provided for us. The next one, you probably guessed it, is going to be sugars. Sugar, if we look at it, that's going to be the big cause of our epidemic today. Most of the top 10 leading causes of death today are attributed to sugar specifically. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to eat fat so I don't get fat. It's the sugar that turns into fat and gets stored in our body. It's the sugar that causes obesity, that causes chronic diseases, that causes fatty liver. It's the sugar that clogs the artery, that leads to a heart attack, a stroke. So overall, sugar, it is a toxin, and you want to get it out of your diet. Now, there are some natural sugar in fruits and stuff, so limited quantities we talked about, is okay, but the processed sugar we want to get rid of. Since we're on the topic of sugar, we have to think about sugar substitutes. I would stay away from all artificial sweeteners. We know, and research has shown, all the diet sodas, there's aspartame. That is a known carcinogenic. That's one we want to completely avoid. Now they're starting to replace that. They're using one called sucralose. I had some fun. I did a research project on that one, and long story short, these scientists were testing this product used as a pesticide, and one was asked to test it and he thought he was asked to taste it, and it was really sweet. So he patented it and they turned it into a sweetener that they're replacing because it's over 100,000 times sweeter than sugar. So that one, although it's not going to spike your insulin or affect someone that's diabetic, it's going to cause cravings. If you don't believe me, look at what you're eating. If it has sucralose in it, you're going to be hungry, you're going to be craving, you're not going to be able to go without meals. Maybe you've tried intermittent fasting and it doesn't work. So look at your products and make sure that we're avoiding that one. The natural ones you can have, I wouldn't do it every day, but there's stuff like stevia, that is an herb, or you have stuff like your xylitol, which is your sugar alcohols, in limited moderation. Those are fine for cooking, for baking, if you want to try something sweet. Now another one I would avoid is your commercial pasteurized dairy. Now for the most part, we're going to avoid the big dairy. So like the milk, our bodies are not technically designed to take that in. If you know you have an intolerance to dairy, then just completely avoid it. Most people do. If you can handle it, then in small quantities, you'd be okay to have something like some cottage cheese, or some other type of cheese, or small amounts of yogurt. But that's not something that I would consume on a daily basis. Now the next one is your trans fat. So this is going to be your omega-6 seed oils. One of the biggest problems in America today is we are all inflamed. Inflammation is caused a lot by these processed trans fats, and our bodies need a balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. So omega-3s are the good ones you're going to get from eating fish, from eating flax seeds, even grass-fed chickens, their eggs, grass-fed beef. These are going to have your omega-3s in it. Now the omega-6s are going to be your pro-inflammatory once they've gone in and they are the refined version. So look in the ingredients label on the things that you're eating. This is going to include your corn, safflower, sunflower, and peanut oils. On this list, I'm also going to say to avoid all soybean oil. You can do some research and you will soon realize how bad that is for you. That's going to be in most all your salad dressing. So make sure you're definitely looking and avoiding the soybean oil. It is estrogenic, which means it's going to increase your estrogen and also cause hormone problems as well. On top of that, majority of all soy in America is also sprayed with that glyphosate that we talked about earlier. That's going to be sprayed on wheat, corn, and soy. So those are ones that you're going to want to just avoid. Now I will make a note in here. We talked about vegetables and fruit. Those are your carbohydrates. So we're not limiting any of the macronutrients. We're eating your proteins, your carbs, and your fat. But our bodies, they do not need grains in general. So I like to cut those out unless you are active and you're not at all concerned about trying to lose weight. So if you are active and working out, then some kind of a higher carbohydrate is going to be good before and or after your workout. I would stick to the ones that are the gluten-free grains. So this includes your quinoa, your oatmeal, and your white or brown rice. Or you can do a starchy vegetable like your potatoes, whether plain, red, or sweet potatoes. Those all work if you are active and working out. I think we got that. We talked a little bit about the meal plan ideas. Lunch, I like the big salad. For dinner, I love just to cook up some meat, but then get a big side of vegetables, whatever you choose. Just recently, I cooked a bunch of Brussels sprouts, green beans, and asparagus. So whatever is your favorite, just kind of go ahead and throw it in so you can get all those vegetables. So this is a handout for you to keep, look at, guideline. Any questions, you know where to find me, and have a fabulous day.